सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। So we are doing avagatyarthatvat manana nididhyasanayoh. So here the topic is mananam and nididhyasanam, otherwise called vichara really. Shravanam naturally follows, Shravanam naturally is followed by reflection. You see, you always think about what you hear. It is nothing mystical about it. You see, when a Shabda Pramana, when something is said, you try to think and verify it. There is no other purpose. See, after hearing something, you want to verify. That effort to verify the statement is called mananam nididhyasana. If there is no intention inside that I want to verify, I want to see it for myself whether it is true or not. If that is not there in one's heart, and then merely dwelling on the memory of the words, just remembering the Vakya is of no use. Memory doesn't make reflection. Memory is required for reflection, but simply remembering the words is not reflection. Reflection is a deliberate effort to verify within one's experience, because the Shruti says, what I am talking is already within your experience. Therefore, that effort to verify is called manana nididhyasanam. And reflection is not just really remembering the words and sitting quiet. Because you can't define reflection in any other manner than the effort to verify. It's not possible that there can be anything else. You see, if somebody says after the death you go to heaven, then I can't verify it, so I simply believe and follow. What I can't verify, I simply believe and live with that belief. But when it comes to Vedanta, there is no just, you hearing and believing in it. You hear and verify. Because it requires to be verified, the Shruti also says, hey, after Shravanam, do Mananam and Nididhyasana. That Mananam and Nididhyasanam, quote unquote, means make an effort to verify. And this Shravanam is for knowledge. Mananam is to find out. Nididhyasana also is to find out whether the self is the non-dual. And the knowledge of the self as non-dual is not going to be used as a part of the ritual. Neither Brahman is a part of the ritual, nor Brahma Jnanam is a part of the ritual. It is not a part of karma. Brahman is the truth, and understanding Brahman is the culmination of man's effort for freedom, man's struggle. It ends the struggle place. Now you can't say you use the freedom from struggle as a part of the ritual, don't say. It says ritual also is a struggle. Ritual also is a part of struggle. I want to perform a ritual so that it can bring me some object, so that I can enjoy that object. What is it all? It's called samsara. That's called samsara. Now, freedom from samsara cannot be used as a part of another struggle. Freedom from struggle cannot be used as a part of another struggle. It's a contradiction in terms if one thinks very deeply. And therefore, here Bhagavan says, Bhashyakara said, my dear, Manana Nididhyasana Yorapi Shravanavat Avagatyarthatvat. Your entire reflection is only meant to help you understand what you are. Not that after understanding you do upasana. So Mananam and Nididhyasanam are not to be, translated, they are not to be, interpreted to mean upasana. Upasana is prayer and worship. But an effort to verify is not prayer and worship. They are very big things. An effort to verify a statement is called really vichara. Prayer and worship, that's different. Therefore, Mananam does not mean prayer and worship. Nididhyasanam does not mean prayer and worship. Mananam and Nididhyasanam is an effort to verify. Whatever it is, verify. Whether it is Anvaya Vyatireka Nyaya or Mahavakya, I want to verify. If we talk about the self as something unnegatable, has got something, that has continuity. So I have to verify my continuity. I have to verify the statement that I have continuity in all the three states. And continuity in the three states means unnegatability. How can one really, think that though it continues in the three states, but yet it can discontinue in death? How is that possible? If the self continues in the three states, the waking and the dream and deep sleep, then the self is eternal. It is unnegatable. And it is our own experience that the self has continuity in all the three states. Three states are our experience. Thus, I have to verify the statement that you have Anvaya and everything else has Vyatireka. I have to verify also the statement that the Atma that continues in all the three states is indeed the reality, and the appearances are only a creation, and the self that has continuity is unlimited, and it is the truth of everything, and everything is ananya with it, and therefore it is non-dual. This whole, everything that is said by Vedanta, I have to verify within my experience. Because it is already within experience, I have to verify. Means I have to see, is it there? Is it true? Is the truth? Am I being the truth? Am I being unlimited? Am I being continuous? Am I being the non-form? Is it true? That's called vichara. That's called manana vidya. That's called sannyasa. Sannyasa means living a life only to verify what the Shastram says. If a person is interested and if a person sees the value of verifying the Shastras, Vakyas, for him is Vairagyam difficult. Is Vairagyam a struggle? Because he sees nothing is valuable in this life except verifying what Shruti says. If what Shruti says is right, then everything is redundant. And if what Shruti says is wrong, then also everything is redundant. Kya karna? If the self is negatable, then what is the use of everything? If the existence is negatable, then nothing has relevance. If the existence has eternal, if the existence is negatable, nothing is relevant. None of the created details is relevant. What is the use of consuming and then becoming nothing? I mean, I don't think really any thinking person would be attracted towards it. Similarly, if the self is eternal, then also nothing is relevant. In fact, what is relevant is only to figure out how it is eternal. So if you look at the world fundamentally, its absolute irrelevance becomes very clear. It doesn't have either relative relevance or absolute relevance. It is looked upon relevant. Just as it doesn't have a relative reality, similarly it doesn't have a relative relevance. It is looked upon as real and relevant. And therefore, don't interpret Mananam and Nididhyasanam as worship. After the study of the Shruti, you try to verify whether it is right within one's experience. Everything is within one's experience anyway. Bondage is also felt, waking is felt, dream is felt, freedom from them also is felt, bondage is felt, one's own existence also is felt. Thus, Mimamsaka is refuted here. Let us continue. Yadi hi avagatam brahma anyatra viniyujyeta. Yadi hi, have you been able to find out the line? Yadi hi, if at all, avagatam brahma, Brahman understood. Anyatra, in a ritual. Viniyujyeta, if it could be used. If it were available for being used as a part of the ritual. Viniyujyeta. You know that Yadi viniyujyeta. Understand? Vidhilinga hai, yak hai, vagera vagera. Niyujyeta, viniyujyeta, yujyeta. Niyujyeta, viniyujyeta. Agar viniyog hota, if Brahman that is understood if it were available for being used as a part of ritual. Bhavet tada, tab ho sakta hai. Vidhi seshatvam, then Brahman can be considered as an object of prayer and worship. Brahman ununderstood cannot be really an object of a ritual. Brahman understood also cannot be literally a part of ritual. But before understanding, one may look upon Brahman as an object of prayer and worship. It is in my thinking Brahman is an object of prayer and worship, not Brahman as such is an object of prayer and worship. Therefore, Brahman, understood of course as one's own self, cannot become again that knowledge, that Brahma Jnanam cannot be useful, is not used as a part of upasana. I mean, in other words, I have told you, freedom from struggle cannot be used to undertake a struggle. Freedom from action cannot be used to undertake an action. You see, cannot be undertaken. That's not useful, not possible. Therefore, Brahman doesn't have vidhi seshatvam. Vidhi seshatvam means it does not stand related to any vidhi vakya. Vidhi vakya means do's and don'ts, means actions. Like you see, when you perform a ritual, the priest has vidhi seshatvam. The yajamana is related to the ritual, the priest is related to the ritual. The materials that we use in a ritual are also related to the ritual. The devatas are related to the ritual, and the ritual result also is related to the ritual. They are all related to karma, action. They are all related to an action. But Brahman as the unlimited is not related to the ritual, because from the point of view of the Brahman, there is no Jagat, leave alone the ritual. See, therefore, Brahman should not be, truth should not be looked upon as an object related to as something that can be related to any karma kanda, ritual, karma, prayer, worship, all these things. Na vidhi seshatvam. Natu tadasti. But it is not there. Meaning, if Brahman were available for being used as a part of the ritual, then we can look upon Brahman to have vidhi seshatvam. Nadu tadasti, but it is not available for being used as a part of ritual. Nadu tadasti, wo to hai nahi. Manana nidithya nadu tadasti manana nidithyasanayорапи shravanavat avagatyarthatvat. Twice it has come. Mananam and nidithyasanam also are meant for knowledge, not mananam and nidithyasanam are meant for upasana. Shravanavat Bhagavan says. So one hears, the purpose of hearing is to know, and the purpose of reflection is also is to know, and knowing is final. Not that after knowing the truth one has to do a ritual. The karma kand is what they say, your Brahma Jnanam also is a part of a ritual. This is the simple, in a simplest terms you can understand. Leaving out all the technicalities. The general thinking is that even Brahma Jnanam is a part of ritual. Whereas Vedanta is saying rituals are different, Brahma Jnanam is different, self-knowledge is different, rituals are different. Rituals are performed by an individual within the realm of self-ignorance and self-error. Within self-ignorance and self-error, a human being, an individual, performs empirical actions as well as religious actions so that he can survive in this creation now and later. In this life and in the next life, if there is a next life, in the next life. So he undertakes the empirical actions as well as the religious actions in order to get some good future. He wants to build up future for himself. He thinks of the future. And therefore, he would like to have comforts in future. So he performs the religious rituals also for the future comforts, here and hereafter. That is all done within self-ignorance and self-confusion. Vedanta comes and teaches man and liberates him from self-ignorance and self-confusion. When he is liberated from self-ignorance and self-confusion, then all that he has been doing within the realm of self-ignorance and self-confusion also becomes negated. When dream is negated, then the dream actions are negated, dream rituals are negated, dream pleasures are negated. Everything goes. Because all that man does, he does it within the realm of confusion. Thus, Shravanavat Manana Nididhyasanayorapi Avagati Arthatva means Jnana Arthatva. They are meant for Jnana, understanding. Tasmat, therefore, na pratipatti vidhi vishayataya shastra pramanakatvam brahmanaha. Tasmat, therefore, pratipatti vidhi vishayataya. Pratipatti means upasana. Pratipatti means upasana. Vidhi means an action. An act of upasana. Pratipatti vidhi. A prescribed, what is, if a Veda prescribes an action for man, that is called vidhi. If I perform an action on my own, I do krishi, I do farming. It is not a prescribed action. It is swabhavikam. For survival, I start farming. It is natural. It is for survival, I do something. Swabhavikam. I do business. It is swabhavikam. Veda doesn't say please do business. Veda doesn't say please do business. Man starts business for his own survival. That is called swabhavika karma, otherwise called laukika karma. It is an empirical action. If you take up some service, it is not vihita by Veda. Veda doesn't say please do some job. What is this action? Laukika action. It's an empirical action for survival. But certain actions which man does not undertake naturally, effortlessly, but he is in need of them, those actions are prescribed by Veda, and such actions are called vidhi. That is called vidhi. Man does not undertake upasana. Prayer and worship are not undertaken naturally by man. Because he doesn't see any God. He doesn't see any law of karma, even though he is living law of karma, but he doesn't recognize. Even though he is living the punarjanma, but still he doesn't recognize the punarjanma. And therefore Veda comes and says, hey, there is punarjanma, and therefore undertake some religious actions also. Undertake some religious actions so that they will give you results in time. It will slowly make you happy in time. Thus Veda prescribes certain religious rituals, religious prayers, and religious meditations. These are all called upasana. And another word for that upasana is pratipatti. And which is a vidhi. Pratipatti is a vidhi. Why? It is prescribed by Veda. And that makes it vidhi. Pratipatti vidhi. Pratipatti vidhi. Vishayataya as an object of upasana. Pratipatti vidhi Vishayataya as an object of upasana. Shastra pramanakatvam brahmanaha na. Meaning, when we say Shastra means the means of, Shastra means the pramana in the matter of Brahman, we do not mean Shastra means a pramanam to convey to you that Brahman is an object of upasana. Shastra means a pramana that is meant to reveal that Brahman is an object of understanding, not Brahman is an object of upasana. Pratipatti vidhi vishayataya brahmanaha na shastra pramanakatvam. Brahman doesn't, Shastra means a pramanam in the matter of Brahman. Shastra means a pramanam. Meaning, Shastram talks about Brahman. Shastram talks about Brahman not as an object of worship. Shastram talks about Brahman as the very nature of the observer, as the nature of oneself. Brahman is unfolded by the Shastra not as something to be worshipped. Brahman is unfolded by the Vedanta Shastram as the very listener, as the very student's nature. Therefore, Shastram is a pramanam for Brahman, not as pratipatti vidhi vishayataya brahmana na shastra pramanakatvam. Clear? Shastra means a pramanam, yes, in the matter of Brahman. And it doesn't talk about Brahman as an object of prayer. In ignorance, in era before I begin Vedanta, I may worship Brahman, I may worship God, I may pray to God, I may look upon God as something other than me, and then I may pray to Him, I may worship Him, but all these prayers and worships definitely come under the law of karma and they will produce results. But when Vedanta talks about Brahma, when it unfolds Brahma, it doesn't say that Brahman is an object of prayer and worship and you please continue your prayer and worship. He says, hey, Brahman is the unlimited truth is thyself. Verify it. The eternal, the truth is thyself. And verify it. And the method of verifying, the process of verifying is called Mananamanda Nidithyasanam. Because supposing you hear something, you don't know, what do you do with that vakya? Supposing somebody says, hey, what is there on your face? There is something on your face. Then what do you do? You want to verify. You go in front of the mirror. Oh, yes. It is not relevant or even possible to do anything. Very important. Vakya has no job than to create in man the interest to verify. It is not that I have to select. Vakya can inspire me towards this, towards that, and towards something else. Supposing the Vakya can prompt me in different directions, then I have to avoid the other directions and choose the direction of really verifying. But aisa to hai nahi. I hope I am able to convey this. Atma, you are unnegatable when the Shruti says, that is a Vakyam coming from Shabda Pramanam. Now I hear it, then what do I do with that Vakya? I can't simply believe and keep quiet. Why? Because it is not really a Vakya that is asking you to believe. It is not a Vakya that is talking about an unverifiable something, but it is talking about something that is verifiable. Verifiable means recognizable. Verifiability does not mean you have to go to a laboratory and then all that. That's not. That is also verification about physical things. In order to verify a physical thing, then I have to use my pratyaksha. I have to use the perception. But in order to verify a statement about myself, then I have to verify that statement in the light of the direct anubhava, independent of pratyaksha. The direct anubhava that is unlike the thought, that is independent of the thought, that illumines even the negation of the thought in toto. Thus, a Vakya, a Shabda Pramana Vakya has no other job to do than to prompt you towards Mananam and Nididhyasana. That is why Mananam is a natural, it is in sequence of the Shravana. So if a person does Shravanam and then start doing Upasana, it simply means he is not Adhikari for Brahmavidya. Meaning what? He doesn't know even the fundamentals of what he is doing. He does something in the name of spirituality in order to, like that, just as you pick up a job to make little money, similarly he does some spiritual exercise to get some mental peace. Because it is a verifiable Vakya. Therefore, having heard it, I have to do it. And the statement verified is over. The jiva is liberated from self-ignorance and self-error, then there is no question of the same jiva doing some ritual because he ceases to be jiva. He is not a jiva. Even when he did not know, even then he is not jiva. That is why the Shruti says the word Brahma. In which state? Even before the jiva understands about himself, he is told, hey, you are Brahman. That is the fact. And therefore, Brahman is, Vedanta Pramanam doesn't talk about Brahman as a matter of upasana. Na pratipatti vidhi vishayataya brahmana shastra pramanakatvam. Bahut badi vakya hai. Sambhavati is possible. It's not possible that Brahman, it is not possible that the Shastram can be a Pramanam in the matter of Brahman and talking about it as a matter of Upasana. Okay. Aram se dekhiye. Ityataha, therefore. Swatantrameva Brahma Shastra Pramanakam. Swatantrameva means Brahman Shastram is a pramanam in the matter of Brahman as an independent fact, not as a related detail. Swatantrameva Brahma Shastra Pramanakam. Brahman is the topic of the Shastram, not as one of the details of the ritual, but as an independent fact. It's called Swatantrameva Brahma Shastra Pramanakam. Understand this clearly. Like even, when I see the form, Chakshu is a Swatantram Pramanam. The eyes are meant to reveal only the form. Eyes reveal the form not as related to any action. In fact, every pramanam is swatantra. Except Karmakanda talks about the details as a part of an action. Eyes reveal the form. There the job is over. Ears reveal the sounds. Job is over. How the sense organs culminate in revealing the sense objects, so does Vedanta really reveal the Brahman as a fact unrelated to anything. Unrelated to anything. So when Karmakanda talks about the priests, the Ritvik and the Yajamana and the Devatas and the bricks and the Dravyas, when the Karmakanda talks about, well, definitely, and when it talks about Devatas, it talks about Devatas as related to the ritual. Devatas are there as related to one of the details of the ritual. But Vedanta talks about Brahman not as a part of any ritual or any action. In that sense, Vedanta is a pramanam in the matter of Brahman as an independent, unrelated reality. Swatantrameva Brahma Shastra Pramanakam. Vedanta Vakya Samanvayat. And this is clarified by the Vedanta Vakyas themselves, because the Vedanta Vakyas, this is established that Brahman is an independent reality unfolded by the Shastram on the basis of the Vedanta Vakya Samanvayat. On the basis of the Samanvaya. On the basis of the Samanvaya means the one vision that all the Vakyas have. All the Vedanta Vakyas have the same vision. The consensus among the Vakyas is called one's part of Samanvaya. And the consensus between what Vedanta says and your Anubhava is the Samanvaya. In Vedanta, Samanvaya means what? There is consensus among all the Vedanta Vakyas. And there is consensus between what Vedanta says and the universal Anubhava. This whole thing is called Samanvaya. Understand? A scripture ceases to be a scripture if it doesn't have Samanvaya. That is why the first Adhyaya is Samanvaya Adhyaya. Understand? The later three Adhyayas become relevant provided there is Samanvaya in what Vedanta is taught. And what is Samanvaya? It is not merely the consensus among the Vedanta Vakyas. I have already told you that is misleading. Because even a madman's book also has consensus, because between one mad statement and another mad statement there is a consensus. Consistency is not samanvaya. Consistency among the statements itself is not samanvaya. But what is said must tally with, it must tally with the universal anubhava, obtaining anubhava. The truth, what it says must be universally evident. That is why Bhashyakara, this particular thing he puts it in his own words. And if you remember, we have already seen before, he said, in Karma Kanda everything is Shraddheyam. In Karma Kanda everything is a matter of Shraddha, but when it comes to Brahma Vidya, well, your Anubhava and Tarka also become Pramanam along with Vakya. Thus Samanvaya means Vakya Samanvaya and also Samanvaya between Vakya and all of them culminate in the Tatparyam that Atma is Brahman. They have nothing more to say, nothing else to say. They have no second thought. Neither they overshoot that Tatparyam, nor do they digress from the Tatparyam. And that is the job of every Pramana. That is why Swatah Pramanam na Paratah Pramanam, when we say that's it. Eyes don't overshoot the form. Eyes don't digress from the form. Eyes don't digress from the form. Eyes don't overshoot the form. Eyes don't stop short of the form. They don't stop short of the form. Don't overshoot the form. Don't digress from the form. Pramana culminates in the jnanam of Brahma. And similarly, Vedanta Vakyas, really, they don't stop short of unfolding, nor do they overshoot that fact, nor do they digress. All this is called Samanvaya. And what they say tallies with what we are experiencing. Our own being. Anubhava is one's being. Clear? Swadantrameva Brahma Shastra Pramanakam Vedanta Vakya Samanvayat Iti Siddham. Thus it has been established, and therefore Brahman is unfolded by Vedanta, not as an object of upasana, not as an object of prayer, not as an object of ritual, but as one's own being to be understood. Oh, that means we don't have to pray and worship, say, until one as a facilitator of, as a student who is interested in understanding in order to survive and in order to have mental purity and peace, he can worship. Why not? The same truth one can worship without concluding that it is merely an object. Make use of the law of karma and derive benefit from the law of karma and continue. Because the moment you start teach Vedanta, the first casualty what happens in this world. The moment you begin Vedanta, on the very first day, Swamiji, if I am Brahman, then why should I pray? God. बड़ा मुश्किल होता है. That's why Vedanta should not be taught. Do you know what Krishna says? Na buddhi bhedam janayed ajnanam karma. Hey, if you teach Vedanta and if that is going to really destroy somebody's prayer and worship, please don't teach. That means you're not ready for it. prayer and worship does not prove Brahman as other than oneself. Prayer and worship is meant to help you understand how one's nature is. Prayer doesn't prove anything or disprove anything. Worship doesn't prove anything or disprove anything. Vedanta proves something and disproves something. And to understand what it proves and to understand what it disproves, I require certain mental peace. For that I pray to the truth, Hey Bhagavan, whatever you are, please help me. That is called, I want to understand what the Shastra says, and therefore let me have a very peaceful mind, an abiding mind and a pure mind, impulses free mind, ragadvesha free mind, an abiding mind and virakta mind, a viveki mind, Hey Bhagavan, so that I can live my life for the purpose of verifying what Vedanta says. Verifying. Does prayer and worship don't prove or disprove anything? Therefore, immediately don't say, oh, if I am Brahman, that means if I am praying, that means God is other than us. Unless Bhagavan is other than us, how can we pray? Unless Bhagavan is other than me, how can I pray? This is the question. Okay. Evam cha sati, when it is so. When it is so means then it flash back all the above said things. When the situation is like this, meaning, just as Shravanam, Mananam and Nididhyasanam also are meant for understanding, and therefore Brahman is not unfolded as an object of upasana or prayer. It's not unfolded as an object of a ritual. And therefore Vedanta is a pramanam in the matter of Sutantram Brahma. Understand? And this is all established on the basis of the Samanvaya in the light of all these realities. Evam jasati jabaisa hai. Evam jasati athato brahma jignasa iti. Only when Brahman is a topic which is not a part of the ritual. That is the reason why Vedavyasa started the Brahma Jignasa as separate from Dharma Jignasa. If Brahman were a part of a ritual, then in Dharma Jignasa, Brahman would be included. But Brahman is not included in the Dharma Jignasa because Brahman is not a topic of Dharma or Adharma or Karma. Clear? That is why here he says, Evam Trisati, because it is so, Athato Brahma Jignasa iti tad vishayaha, as the subject matter of Brahma Jignasa. Prithak Shastrarambha upapadyate. A new Mimamsa is started whose topic is Brahman. If Brahman were a part of the ritual, there would have been no need for Vedavyasa to start Brahma Mimamsa. And if just as all the details of the rituals are included within the Dharma Mimamsa, if Brahman also were a part of a ritual, definitely if it were a part of a prayer, if it were an object of prayer, an object of worship, then that would have been included in Dharma Jignasa. Another Jignasa would not have been necessary. But if there is Brahma Jignasa, it only proves that Brahman is not one of the details of Dharma Jignasa. That is why Evam cha sati dhatu brahma jignasa iti tad vishayah prithak, separately. Shastra arambha, the starting a new shastram. Upapadyate becomes a tenable. It's logical. Starting Brahma Mimamsa after Dharma Mimamsa is justified only when Brahman is not a part of Dharma Jignasa. If Brahman also were a part of Dharma, then starting a new new Shastram called Brahma Sutras would not have been justified. But now it is justified because this is a different topic. Pratipatti vidhi paratvehi. Supposing, Pratipatti vidhi paratvehi. If Veda thinks, listen to this carefully, if Veda really thought that Brahman also is an object of ritual, if it were true that Brahman also is a topic of prayer and worship and ritual, and that is how it is talked about in the Shastram, if it were true, then Vedavyasa would not have started, now begins Brahma Jignasa. He would have started, now begins the leftover Dharma Jignasa. Jaimini has written some Dharma Mimamsa, and whatever Jaimini has not written, Vedavyasa could say, well, I am writing the remaining part of Dharma Jignasa. Why? Because Jaimini has not talked about Brahman as a part of the ritual. He has talked about all other parts of the ritual, all other details of the ritual. Jaimini has not written about Brahman as a part of the ritual. Therefore, that leftover part of Dharma Jignasa I am starting, that should be the Pratigna. He should have said, well, athato dharma jignasa. So, he says, evam jasati pratipatti vidivishitye athato dharma jignasa ityeva arabdhatvat na prithak shastram arabhyeta pratipatti vidhi paratve. Now this is over. So now, pratipatti vidhi paratvehi. Pratipatti vidhi paratvehi means what? If Brahman were an object of upasana, athato dharma jignasa ityeva arabdhatvat. Jaimini has already started that. Here begins the dharma jignasa. Because it has already been started, and then again if Vedavyasa starts something about dharma jignasa, then what should he say? Now I am writing the leftover portion of Dharma Jignasa. I am able to follow. Supposing you have already started cooking, such a simple thing, you have to listen. Vedanta Shastram is a very terse. It's not, the unfoldment requires attention. You have already started cooking, and you have done some cooking, and thoda bahut bach gaya, and then your daughter comes and says, now let me begin cooking. Can she say that? Hey, you have already started cooking. Wahan tak samajh mein aa gaya. You have already started cooking. You have already done most of the cooking. Some cooking has not been completed, and your daughter comes, Mummy, now you go and relax. I will do the rest, she would say. She would never say, please go and relax. I will begin the cooking. Can she say that? बाकी मैं करूंगा. Similarly, Jaimini has already done the dharma jignasa, and when Vedavyasa has to write dharma jignasa also, then he would say, now I am going to write the remaining part of the dharma jignasa. He would not have said Athato Brahma jignasa. He would have said what? He says, Pratak Shastram, na Pratak Shastram arabhyeta arabhyamanam cha. And if he ever wrote Evam arabhyeta, he should have started Athataha parisishta dharma jignasa iti. Then he would have written, now begins the remaining part of dharma jignasa. But Vedavyasa did not say, now I am going to write the remaining part of dharma jignasa, but he said, I am going to begin Brahma jignasa. I am going to write Brahma jignasa, which means dharma jignasa is different from Brahma jignasa. And if Brahman also were a part of an object of prayer, an object of upasana, an object of ritual, an object of karma, then it would have been included within dharma jignasa. But that's not so, and therefore here the Siddhanta says, don't waste time in life unnecessarily. I say, even when you are intellectual, then you should be right in thinking. It's nice to be intellectual, but you should use your intellect to think correctly rather than quibble to refute, quibble to take another direction. To take an independent direction is not our need. It's not. Everybody goes in one direction and you go in another direction. And therefore to go in your own direction is not our need. To go in the right direction is the need. Not to really select your own direction. To have a school, a new school of thought, a different school of thought is not our need. And once you belong to a school, this is what happens. Once you belong to a school, you will never learn. Why? Then you will only think to justify the thought of your school. If you are a Mimamsaka, then you would do everything to justify. You would only think to justify, and that what Vedanta says, to prove that what the Mimamsaka says is right. If you belong to, that is why you should not have a sense of belonging, I am telling you. Belonging to a particular school of thought. If you belong to a particular Sankhya, for instance, then you will do everything to prove Sankhya is right. And there is no belonging to Vedanta also. Vedanta, there is no belonging. In fact, Vedanta says you don't belong to anybody, nor anything belongs to you. Only you are there, Advitiyam is there. And therefore, once you conclude that I am a Mimamsaka, then it becomes necessary for you to prove that Mimamsa is right or Sankhya is right. It's like, if it is like this, like political parties, as long as you belong to Congress, then you will try to prove Congress alone is right. And when you switch to BJP, then you start running down Congress. Why? It is not thinking. It is also one thing. You become prejudiced with thinking. Our need is not to belong to any particular school. Our need is to go in the right direction. That's why here the Siddhanta says, my dear, Brahman is not an object of pratipatti vidhi. It's not an object. And therefore we come back to the original point. Therefore, mananam and nididhyasanam are not in the form of upasana. upasana. If mananam and nididhyasanam are not upasana, then, you see, we do upasana throughout life. We pray throughout life so that we have inspiration to do Shravana. Thus, before Shravanam is the upasana. Upasana, in fact, creates a lot of punya. Upasana creates a lot of punya. Upasana creates mental purity. Upasana brings God's grace, and that inspires you, that creates in oneself the jijnasa. Then you begin to do Shravana. Upasana culminates in the inspiration for Shravana. Upasana culminates in the inspiration for Shravana. And Shravanam leads to the effort to verify. And verification means verifying that the self is the truth. That is the culmination of the entire effort, and that liberates the individual from samsara. Not that it is followed by some upasana. Upasana karma is before Shravana. That's why a question comes, why does one become a jijnasa? How does one become a jijnasa? We just think about it. A person suddenly becomes a jijnasa. He is not like others. He is interested only in finding out. He is finding out what this world is, what this life is, what this death is. He is a reflective person. See, that he has no interest in the world is not an ordinary phenomenon. A genuine lack of interest in, accumulating wealth, raga, dvesha, kama, krodha, these things. He is not interested. He is only wondering at what is this life about, and are we there in death, or were we there before? And if we were not there before, and if we are not going to be there after death, then why all this? For what? This jijnasa, why does it begin? It has to have explanation. It can't be an accident. There cannot be even a single accident. Therefore, Shastram itself says, well, really, it is the result of some karma, some prayer, some upasana, some punya karma, and that only creates in him jijnasa. Bas. Then after jijnasa, there is Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. That is how the krama is. Now, you are really, distorting the sequence. You do Shravanam, and then after Shravanam you start doing the upasana. So this is a krama kopa. Krama kopa means, distorting the sequence. This distortion of the sequence also is not right. That's why here he says, well, arabhyamanam cha evam arabhyeta athagaha parisishta dharma jijnasa. If even Vedavyasa had started, he would have started, now begins the remainder of dharma jijnasa. But he did not start that way. He started as athato Brahma jijnasa, which means Brahma jijnasa is different from dharma jijnasa, meaning the topic of dharma jijnasa is only dharma. The topic of Brahma jijnasa is only Brahman. Between dharma and Brahma, there is no anga-angi bhava. There is no sesha-seshi bhava. There is nothing, they are not related. It's not related. Like a ritual performed inside the dream and waking up, they are not related. Waking up from the dream and performing a ritual in the dream, between them, there is no relationship. Clear? Just a few more lines are there. I think we'll complete them in the next class. Last. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnahat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. What should we do after the fourth sutra? Will you be able to continue? We can continue the fifth sutra, vagaira, vagaira. Will you be able to come?
Yes.
You also say yes, then you should come. ये नहीं है. You say, Swamiji, we will come, then you have to come. ऐसा नहीं कि हम आएंगे, then next day 4 सूत्र हो गए हम. So come. Anyway, come fine. If you don't come, we'll continue. What else? Until we decide. Because until Anandamaya Adhikaranam is required to 6th Adhikaranam, ऐसे भी जरूरत है.